If you are following the channel so far, you already know what is the problem. Already did a video explaining this noise and explaining what you have to do. Now on this video, let's actually do it. Let's remove everything that is necessary to take out the turbo assembly to do the proper repairs, okay? So in this case, let's take out here this intake manifold over here, as well as this breather pipe. Let's take out also here the battery tray to gain access here to this area because of the EGR pipe and whatnot, okay? For the coolant pipes, normally I do not remove them at all, okay? But if necessary on the way in, we'll do that, no problems. So this clips over here, just like so. Spin it around and just yank it out. It is broken over there, but that is no big issue, and we can mend this on the way in. So taking out here the connector for the master flow meter. One modification that I do on these ones is this clamp over here. I do use a universal one because, as you can see, the access to remove is not all that great, and to put in is even harder. And also, more than that, the universal one can do a little bit more force because with age a bit of oil residue will come out here of this hose. So yes, on this case it is recommended to use a universal clamp. Okay. Like it or not, the dipstick tube will have to come out along with the temperature sensor and the vacuum hose. It seems to have clearance for that, but at the last minute you will see that it is not possible, so might as well just remove it right now. Mind you, when you are taking out here the tube, some engine oil may come out of the hole, okay, the hole exposed here by the dipstick tube. This car being on an inclination, maybe not, I hope not, and in this way I do not have to take out the some of the engine oil. Or if you are doing this in a maintenance schedule, you can remove the oil in the filter for that matter and do all at once. Taking out the bolt, 10mm head one, just like so. Okay. While we are here, we can jump to the heat shield. We have also 10mm head bolts holding it down, and it will come off through the bottom side of the car. This job here in Portugal is not very difficult because corrosion is not a big issue on our country, except on the seaside, and our coast is really fairly big for the size of our country, of course. But as you can see, this is the normal corrosion that we have here on these bolts. These bolts go here on this heat shield and screw on to the exhaust manifold itself. So another one on that side, and it's very easy to be confused. It is not this one. This one holds here this water manifold. It is that one beneath there, over there, okay? Using here just the right size of the extension, I can reach down and take out the screw. Yeah, This is the one of the stages that I'm thinking about taking out the coolant hoses, but if you are patient enough, you will see that it is not necessary actually. Except, again, if you are doing a maintenance on it, again, you should replace your coolant every 60,000 kilometers or 2 years. In fact, it's more than 2, but if I say the correct amount, people will double it. So I am already cutting it in half because I know people will not respect very much that. So battery is off. Again, what is the first one to remove? The first that has the rapid shut off or disconnect. If it were on the positive side, you do on the positive side. On this car, it is on the negative side. These kinds of cheap batteries are always like this. This is a 74 mAh and it carries only 680 cold cracking amps. Miserable. It is about 100 less that I get on a E44 Varta. Not just 100. This 680, I imagine after a week or 6 weeks from now, is no longer anything like that. Oh my god! Jesus, what's happening? Cheap batteries. Schnizzles. Suffering. I'm also taking here the battery tray because I want to see the intake right here on the entry, on the intake valve, on the intake throttle valve, and on the EGR to see if the EGR is truly taken care of, and if so or not, I will build a testing plate to fit in there to prevent the exhaust gases to open the EGR valve with pressure, like it was happening on the 147 that you may have seen on previous videos. So next we have here the heat exchanger for the EGR, and for that we have here the feeder for the EGR being taken care of or not. It is over here and we have to remove it. So what I like to do is, instead of taking out the two 6mm Allen bolts over there, not right now, I'll do just this 5-1 and remove here the pipe, and the pipe will go out with the manifold altogether. We have a gasket, a ring-shaped gasket on the inside of there. It's very common to be lost, and then we have a exhaust leak over here. So if you know that it's here, you know that you have to find it, being on the ground, being stuck on the pipe, whatever it may be, you have to find it, you have to save it to mount it later. Then on a bench you can take out the other screws, the 6mm head ones, and do these things more easily. So this is the screw that I removed. So that pipe over there that has this protective heat membrane comes with the manifold out of the car. Now this next part can be very annoying for you because most of the job is done underneath the car. So you want to take out here this pipe, this flexible section over there, right? Remove it over here until the DPF, if the car has it, and remove here also this plate over here down, and take out here the intercooler pipe, take out here the sensor of the exhaust gases, and remove there the hose for the vacuum of the turbo. Also, you have to remove the two screws that go to the spent oil of the turbo. I'll show you that in a minute. So we'll have here assortment of 12mm, 13mm, some 11mm too. So the 12s normally are here on the pipe and here on this, 13s over here. It depends a bit of the year of manufacturing and also on the quantity of times that people did disassemble this. So these, for example, are thermal nuts. These two ones are not. While I have the 13, do here these two bolts, and take out here also the bracket. Do not need to remove it altogether, but you can if you want to be not to be on your face. because I will do this on the ground. If you want, you can save the nuts and bolts on the same place if things are on the correct placement to begin with, right? Okay, so over here, almost there. Make sure that you have this little plate over here. It serves like a washer, almost. Not almost, it really is. And then you can remove this bracket over here, just like so. It is almost out. There is absolutely no need whatsoever to put any exhaust paste on these gaskets, on these exhaust gaskets, because they are metallic ones. Once you have a metallic gasket on the exhaust system, it is not necessary at all to put any exhaust paste on it. You also can reuse these metallic gaskets on the exhaust, if they are original ones, of course, multiple times. They are really very, very, very durable, very, very good. Please do not use exhaust paste at all. I beg you for this. Okay? Okay. At any moment you can take out here the rest of the nuts for the ratchet for this heat shield. Up there you can see also the tube, the pipe that I was talking about, the EGR. It will come with the exhaust manifold, unless I have some troubles with it. If I have, we'll see. Oh, dear God. In here on the heat shield, it's just 10 millimeters all around. I think it's only nuts on the top down side. So on the top side it was two, oh my God. It was 2 bolts on the downside. 1, 2, 3. 3 nuts, I believe. But you just wiggle it and see if something is still attached. And so the heat shield will come out if you take out here first the intercooler pipe. And so how to remove those damn clamps over here. I already showed you how to remove them on the Alfa 166 or the 64. I think it was the 66. So it is not very difficult to do if you know where to start over here. I will start by doing a gentle cleaning over here to make sure I'm not filling my face with oil and something else. Okay, they are different from these ones. Okay, these ones you just do this with the screwdriver and they will come off eventually. Okay, but these ones are different. So for the new ones, you can ask Alfa Romeo for new ones, but they will not be equal to these ones. They will be a universal type that you can apply on these pipes and also on the coolant pipes. So you find a nice place to see, and you can put your screwdriver underneath that metal tab over there and just twist it like so until you have a perfect opening of the tab. So this is a crimped type clamp, and you want to undo the crimping, and this is a nice way to do it, except for the debris that is falling on my eyes and mouth and ears when I turn my face. And yeah, just normal day-to-day stuff that no one cares. So eventually you'll start to see that the tab on the tip of the clamp will start to move, and in that way you can start to wiggle it. So here it is, just fell down on its own, and now just can pull the pipe down. Repeat the same process on the other side over here. Some people take out the bumper for this. I do not do that. Just took out here this plug, this connector for the AC sensor, pressure sensor, not to be damaged on this operation. And this one is not very easy to do, but still not the worst that I find so far. Yeah, if so, I can do it from the inside. Yeah, no issues here. So on this side, not even possible. On the other side, somewhat possible. But yes, I get it when people want to take out the bumper. And it is not difficult to remove this bumper. Super easy. So if you want to do that, be my guest. No issues. I do not have any issue with that. I just want to save time, and also in this way we can develop more abilities. In fact, this one is already uncrimped, I believe. Just rest my hand for a bit. Oh, it's almost there. Just almost there. The crimping is really, yeah, on its way out into the assembly. So I can shave an hour of labor on this job by not taking out the bumper. And in this way, on the assembly, it will take a normal clamp, a universal style of clamp, okay? So no reason for charging more labor on the customer if I can do it in this way. Yes, I'm taking a beating on my hand, but that's just the way it is, right? Yeah. Now I can twist. Yes, I can twist it and finish the job. And voila, it is out. Now guess what is in the way to remove the heat shield? Yes, it's the dipstick tube. I always fall for this. And really on the beginning I said we have to remove it. It's really true, you have to. So this is the heat sensor for the exhaust. Let's remove there the vacuum line for the turbo, for the geometry, for the actuator of the geometry. Sometimes you do not need to take out, yeah, just like so, the clamp, because on this case it is a silicone hose, so it's very malleable. And now you have to take out here with a 10 millimeter the bottom side of this dipstick tube, wrenchy. Make sure to have a tray underneath if something falls off. And up here I'm pulling up the tube. Now you can take out here the heat shield, and it comes out surprisingly well for the size. Just look at this. Then for the assembly, we have to do this step by step because of the pre-catalytic converter over here. We have to position it in place before putting in the heat shield, okay? If you do not do that, you can risk having an exhaust leak between the pre-catalytic converter and the turbo itself, or not having the ability to put in the heat shield properly, okay? Speaking of pre-catalytic converter, we have to have a 16 millimeter long wrench to take out the V-band. I think I can show you. And in this way, removing the pre-catalytic converter, and next take out the entire turbo with the exhaust manifold, because on this car the exhaust manifold is part of the gas part of the turbo, okay? So as you can see over there, we have that assembly, very common on modern cars, 16 millimeter, and just remove it all the way, just really all the way out. Pay very close attention to the position of this nut. This is the correct position of it. Sometimes, and most of the times, I encounter this nut backwards. Not fun, guys. When that happens, it is not fun. Another thing, you do not need to tighten this too much, this V-band, because this has a very nice seal to it. And if you tighten too much, you cannot do what I'm about to do, to remove it. So nice. Remove everything, like I told you. Pay very close attention to this kind of washer over here. The position is this one. The smaller part is to the inside, to be fitted on the interior of the V-clamp. If you are in doubt, just look at the bolt itself, and the bolt will have a similar, come on, and the bolt, as you can see, has a similar configuration on the inside. Not all of them, but most of them. Yeah, can you see? Over there? Yeah. Now, to remove the clamp itself, you have a special pair of pliers that has some balls, yeah, that fit on there and there, and just clap it and you can remove it. I do not have it, but this one functions very well indeed. Remember that we have a gasket, a round one. Do not use any exhaust paste, nothing, okay? At most you can put a new one, but you also can reuse this one. Very reliable, very high quality. Now, continuing here with the disassembly, you must look and see what is attached to the block of the engine or the engine itself. And you still have here this pipe that is for the spent oil of the turbo, and you have this feeding pipe of pressure of oil. Okay, this turbo is not cooled by coolant. If it were, you also have to deal with that. Over here, it is not necessary. Okay, the oil will cool the turbo too. 17 over there. Okay, make sure to have a tray. It's starting to drip. And 13 over here. This gasket you should put a new one, only original one. And over here, just two copper washers, high quality, please. And next, it is the manifold itself. 8 nuts to go on the manifold. They are the 12 millimeter ones, I believe. Could be the 12 ones, then the 11 ones, and most recently 13 ones. That is on millimeters. Now, I'm afraid I will not be able to show you all of the nuts, but I think in this way you can see them. So here on the top part over here 4. So one just right on the corner, and this one normally is the one that breaks. Then another one over here, and so on until we have the end of the manifold. On the lower part of the manifold, we have +4, okay, but they are not symmetrical. The position of them is not symmetrical. Once the manifold is out, you can see it better, but don't expect to be a symmetrical assembly. A combination of various tools is required, but these are the 12 millimeter ones, which means they are factory probably. You can also see them. That is broken. This one is broken. Yeah, okay, normal. You can also see what, like I was saying, you can see your work through this manifold over here, okay? So these studs and nuts will go all out to the garbage, and you'll go with 8 + 8 new and original studs and nuts. Okay, this one already did my job. Next, over here, if I can see it, you can see it too. Just took out over there that one. On the left side, it is the one that's broken. Now I have here the third one, and the fourth one is over here. So this job is completely useless, or worse than useless, if you do not do a resurfacing of the manifold. Okay, completely useless. In fact, I told the customer, if I will do this job and I'm not allowed to resurface the manifold, I will not do the job. Okay, so the customer said, go ahead, do what you have to do. So this is the only way that I can do a warranty on this job. Just feel over here the number of nuts. You have one just on top of the turbo over here, where you have the feed tube. This is the one that sometimes people forget. It's the first one that I go to because I already forget about it several times. So it is the first one to go. So if I have one over here, I will have two on this side because this is asymmetrical, and I will have another nut on that one, that side over there. Though that one you could saw it underneath the car earlier on the video. Probably I will have to remove it from the underneath of the car because that makes sense, because the assembly itself will have to go out from the underneath of the car too. So it makes perfect sense to do the last one from the underneath. Can I shut up for a minute? Do you guys like more when I do the videos with more silent parts, or when I am constantly talking? I guess it depends on the video, right? That is my guess. Depends on the type of video and the type of content. On this being the tutorial, I believe talking a little bit more, it will be better for you. Ooh. For me, it's a bit more work because of editing and doing the actual job. But you tell me, okay? For me, what is the best for the channel, I'll do. So the last nut, yeah, it was not there. Yes, it was there, but just playing it there, not really there. It was just attached to. So the turbo is just about to fall out. So what is preventing the turbo from falling out is this assembly over here. The gasket is preventing it from happening. So I can do two things. I can hammer it over here, or I can play with a lever, but this is very sensitive. So I think a little bit of a hammer over here will do the trick. This is really very sensitive and I do not want to mess with it. Before that, let me just give a little bit more clearance. Yeah. Heavy. Very heavy. Oh, it's out. And the gasket. The noise that you hear on the beginning of the video is the gas is passing through the layers of the gasket. Remember when you were a kid and you do this kind of noises with the wrap of the what is it called? Not Tootsie Roll. Something else. Something sweet that you roll on the paper, okay? And then you grab the paper and do the noises. This is what happens here. The gas is passing through the layers of metal, create the sound that you can hear. And you can see that the gases were in fact passing through all of the layers of the gasket. Okay? In fact, just on this corner, but already saw them on at least two areas. So this one over here. What about the studs? That one is broken over there. I have to remove it. Those two ones will be a breeze to take out. Those two ones already out. Those two ones a breeze. And that last one may be a breeze. Maybe. So I have two, two studs that will give me a headache. The rest of them, well, I think it will be easy. Let's see, okay? And so yes, you also can see here the asymmetry of this assembly. You can see the top studs are more close together and the bottom ones are far apart. And on this side, you have another set of four, the lower ones being more close together and the upper ones being more far apart. The tip ones, the ones that are at the extremes, that broken one and that very, very broken one are the ones that get all the stress of the stretching of the components, and they are the ones that normally tend to break all of the time. And so very simply we have it, the turbo with a manifold attached to it. Just like on the block itself you have here two close together plus two far apart and two far apart and two close together. Notice that the holes have different dimensions. That is on purpose, so you have travel of the materials while the temperatures are at work, being the center one the closest to the 8mm, being around 9mm, and as you are further down onto the tips of the manifold, you have larger holes. And also this is why it is very important to have the correct tightening of the manifold. 25 Newton meters, no way around it, okay? And you have to have several passes doing cross and spiral and whatever you want to do, okay? At the end, all of them have to match with 25 Newton meters. I already seen that doing the inner part first outwards, the inner part has to be seen again. Then I do a pass upwards on the top side, and then on the lower side I do a bunch of things to make sure 25 Newton meters is a correct tightening of these nuts. Some colleagues of mine also do that, and afterwards, after the first stage of heating, they redo the tightening of the 25 Newton meters just to be safe. But that implies taking out the heat shield, and I'm a very lazy boy. Okay, so but on my method I've seen that it works. Okay, I had a lot of jobs of this sort, and all of them were okay doing this kind of tightening. So don't forget here the gasket for the EGR. Let's prepare this to be resurfaced. This will go all as a unit. I just will cover the holes over here, all of the holes. About this pipe over here for the EGR, let's remove it. In the meantime, taking out here this flange, I have to get the pliers. I have here this oil pump for the twin spark engine. It is for sale, yeah, not yet. Yeah, it is. But before it goes to sale, do you want me to do a video for it? Don't know if it is very relevant. I did a video for the oil pump for the Mito, the 1.3 That was a vane one. This one here is a cog one. So if you want me to do it, tell me down on the comments. So now these bolts require you to be violent. Yeah. If you do not do it like this, it will be very, very, very bad. While the turbocharger is on the machine shop, we'll take care here of these studs. For the studs, you already may be familiar with this 2-nut, 1-stud thing over here. You just hold on to one of them, one of the nuts, and twist the other one. Oh my god, this is so perverse. Twist the other one until we have a perfect tightening. And now you want to undo the nut that is on the back side, because that one will go against the front one. And this is the way, not the way. Yeah, it's coming off. And if it is coming off, you can use a ratchet to take it out all of the way. So 13, and take out the nut all the way. If it starts to bind, just use that technique of going back, going forward, going back, going forward, until you have the stud completely out. For that one that is broken in half, it will be great if I had a welding machine. I just put there a nut, a single nut, weld up the tip of the nut onto the stud, and that's the way to go. Now the other one that is broken on the inside over there, I have to drill it, or use the welder. But again, I do not have a welder to do so. So old school it is, DIY it is. It's almost there. Just okay. Yes. On this one, just like I thought, the vice grips will do just fine. Just work it back and forward to create a little bit of yeah, to try to clean the threading in this way. And now it's just a matter of working it back. Once you hit a hard spot, go forward again, back, forward, and that's the way it goes. This is the one that if you are not comfortable with this, don't do it. My first ones were on my cars, so a lot of damage was made on the first years of me doing this. As soon as I was doing this on customers' cars, I really had to step up and do this as it should be done. So it has to be plumb, it has to be straight, it has to be on the center of the hole. It has to be a lot of things. You have to have an excellent drill bit, possibly do a punch mark. No, I do not have space for that. And just take it easy, because if it runs on you, the head is softer, it is aluminium, and you will ruin the head. You will, okay? So make a lot of force on the drill bit. Make sure, yeah, it's running from me. Okay, try it again. You do not need to do much. If you are able to take out 5 millimeters, that is half a centimeter, it will be perfect, because you just now want to drive in a bit, like a Torx one or whatever, and drive the stud out. I think I'm going down. I think I'm going down, not good. So I have here a smaller drill bit, and I hope it's the newer one too, because the other one was walking all over. Yeah, this one is staying put. Oh shit, not drilling. The other one was, but the other one was walking. But I think now with this one, made a kind of a benchmark. I think I can, with the other one, do the job, I believe. Jesus. And now finally, with a good high quality drill bit, there you go. There is still room for correction if you see that you are not plumb and straight and square and all that stuff. You can still correct it somewhat, okay? I used here a bit of tape to measure my depth, and once I get to the desired depth, I can stop. You can drill it all the way, and preferably that is the better thing to do, is to drill the stud all the way. In that way you can weaken the body of the stud. But let's try like this, because these studs are not all that stuck on it. It's just broken because of the force of the exhaust manifold, okay, being crooked. So let's try like this. Let's just use another larger drill bit. I already drilled out about 5 to 6 millimeters. I think it is enough. So let's pass to the bigger drill bit and then tap a torque screw bit, I believe. Okay. One of the things that you also can do when drilling out the stud all the way, in order to help to free out the stud, is to inject a little bit of spray through the hole, and in that way you can apply the lubricant on the inside, on the other side of the stud, in that way making a complete lubrication of the system. But I think on this one it's not necessary. Already saw the stud turn a bit. If it was a left-hand drill bit, yes, they exist, I was able to remove it just like this with a drill bit, or those tools to extract the studs, but I do not have that. So I am choosing here this T25, for example. By the way, I drilled out 3 millimeters, then 4 millimeters, and now I have this T25 that it seems to enter the hole not that well, which means if I tap it, it will enter. I hope enough. If not, the 27 torques will do, I believe. This shock is also important to free up the stud. Oh yeah, just what I like. Yeah, just a bit stuck there on the area of the drill, because the T25 is now doing a bit of outwards force, so you have to be patient and careful. Oh yes, so it just dodged a huge bullet, huge one. Yeah, just right on center, right, nice. Just a bit crooked, but again, perfect. Perfect for me. Of course, you want to clean out any debris that is on this face, because you do not want any speck of dust or whatever being on the gasket surface. Okay, just clean everything out very thoroughly. About the cleaning of the threading, you can do that, but be very careful that this is a aluminum head, and the cleaner, the tapper, has to be very, very precise and not very aggressive, I already encountered some that are, and then we have a false tightening of these studs and the weakening of the head. So be very careful with that. So we are going to do here the double nut to put in the studs. Yes, I know there are some tools for that, and I used to have them on my old workshop. The tightening of the stud, it will be by feel. The stud itself does not have a torque spec. It will be just by feel, okay? It is down. Remember, aluminium, it is very sensitive. Do not do a lot of force. I would say about 0.5 Newton meters. It is really very, very little. It is not very important. What is important is the tightening of the nuts. The new nuts, it will be the 11 millimeter ones, and you only can use them once. Once you take them out, they are no good. Now the exhaust gasket over here, this is original one, as you can see over there, okay, and it is the only one that I saw so far that has these indentations on the 3 layers. The aftermarket ones, only the center one has the indentation. I am referring here to this corrugated part over here all around on the gasket, which means that you have to trust these original ones better because they are better, in fact. This is the collapsible part that makes sure the gases will not escape. The gasket only goes one way, not this way, and is in. Exhaust manifold here ready to go, all cleaned out, everything is nice. The new nuts over here. This is the new gasket for the spent oil of the turbo, and okay, I have to assemble this in the meantime, but I will not tighten all the way these bolts, okay, just by hand in order to it to be free to move. This gasket can be already assembled. As you can see, it is perfect and it is original from factory, from the dealership, okay, and these tabs will bend to allow you to not to lose it and not to be crooked on the holes. Very ingenious. Make sure the exhaust is not binding on anything. Mainly they are the tube for the EGR. Make sure it's nice and free so it can be tune adjusted at will. So to tighten down the nuts, I will do by hand first. By hand I mean with this ratchet, just a smidge, to know if everything is good, not binding anywhere. And then we'll do the 25 Newton meters with a tool. Make sure that it is really nice because these nuts are self-locking and you cannot feel if anything is bad. If you can hear the gasket being crushed, that is excellent. It means that it is flush. There is no issues anywhere. So yes, normally I start there on the center one, on the oil feed pipe of the turbo. That is just my way of doing it. Next I will start to widen out the tightening to the outside of the manifold. So over here and then over here and so on. And now starting again on the same place, you can see it wants a little bit more of torque. Quite more. So we have to go back to this. So you want to do this several times to make sure all of the nuts have the exact same tightening. As you tighten another one, the neighbor one can be asking for more. Now the neighbor one again. So not using a torque wrench over here will be a bit bad, because you cannot be so sure with your hands that the tightening is all the same. On the intake one is not so serious, for example, and you can do without that. But on this exhaust one, you will really have to do the thing. Yeah, just want to go. Right, over here, another 25 on these bolts, on the 30mm head ones. Try to do the tightening a bit of a time left to right, to make sure that the crushing of the gasket is perfect. And I'm doing here about 25mm. 2. Okay, so now that's 17 one, and let's try with 25 to see what happens on there, because you can feel when the tightening is not right, it's too much or too little when you have the experience. And I think 25 on copper washers maybe a bit too much. Let's feel it. Okay, let's try 20. I'm sure there is a spec for that, but cannot remember, and I do not have it. Yeah, that's more like it. So it will be about between 20 and 25, maybe 22 and a half, just back on the middle of the tightening. But okay, I'm glad with that. So just clean out here the smidge of oil that was on the pipes, of course. Clean out here this area with the degreaser and ready ourselves to the finalization of this service. It's quite a big one. Now the EGR pipe, as you can see, is over here. Now I put here the washer, okay, the gasket. There is absolutely no need to remove it. This or the heat exchanger, you can leave it, but I'll do a video for that next, okay, just for the EGR and for the throttle body. So it is in there, yeah. My eye! Make sure the tube is all the way to the heat exchanger side, and now you can wheel on it. The more you tighten, being the cone shape union, the more you tighten it, the better it will be, until a certain point. If you abuse it, it will go very wrong. No torque spec, just by feel. Yeah, just about right, okay. So now just tighten here these 6mm bolts. To remove them, it was on a bench, yeah, but now to put back in, you have to do it like so. It's different. So this pipe is already well adjusted. You just now need to tighten the two 6mm head hex bolts to around 25 Newton meters. Every time you have a screw that has, or a bolt, a 8mm body, normally corresponds to the 25 Newton meters. It depends on the placement of the screw, of the materials, of the tightening thing. Now the clamp is already over there. Here on the cat you have here the gasket, remember that. And you just want to put that in. And this fitment over here is not cone shape on the inside, just on the clamp side. Okay, so it fits right, it clicks in almost. It's very satisfying actually. So make sure everything is nice, it's not crooked. Very common to happen, unfortunately, because people do not do this adjustment over here. If you purchase this new gasket, it will have those little tabs a little bit bigger, and it will be stuck on there, not to fall out like this, and it will make your life a little bit easier, or much easier, that is. Going up, at the same time open the clamp. So normally it's not this hard, but today is being like this. Okay, come on, go in. Come on. You have to be sure, okay? Yeah, just like so. So you have this engagement over here, like this, and now you want to put in this this bracket, like so and so. Yeah. At the same time, always making sure that the catalytic converter is in place, If you want, you can do a little bit there on top to do a little bit of tightening to prevent this from happening. So going up, just a bit of tightening of the clamp, just enough to rotate, to be able to rotate without getting out of the fitment. This procedure is the same for multi-jet engines on the 156, 147 and GT. So I believe, yeah, you can rotate a bit, you can tighten it a little bit more. At this stage you also want to put your clamp near the final position, so it will not touch the heat shield. Yeah, nice, very nice. So I'll do this two first, then this nut, and finally that bolt over there. I think it's the best procedure. Okay, so let's choose the middle part, okay? Over here, okay? So tighten now the clamp all the way. It is by feel. I'm using a spark plug wrench to do this job. I just took out the interior part, the rubber, and it works like a charm. Now we are good to put the heat shield on and see if it lines up with the holes. If not, we have to adjust again here the briquette. What she said. My God, perfect. It was by chance. Now the nuts, the special nuts. Do not tighten these nuts all the way, because on top we have to put the screws first, those two little ones, the 10mm head ones that go to the manifold itself, remember? Only then you can tighten this all the way. These are the ones. Sometimes you have to move the protection around to find the fitment. Oh my God! Man down! Where is it? Come on. Yes. Nice. Now before putting here the screw, or I can do it. On this top side, just point in the screw. Do not tighten it all the way, because down on this oil sump we also have a screw to put in. You do not want to mess that up. Not even close. But sure, this one is the most important one. But the other one assures you that the dipstick tube is all the way down. So the screw on the dipstick tube. Before that we can put in this the vacuum pipe for the turbo. So this vacuum pipe is a little bit tired, and it will not make a perfect seal, so we will have to do something over here. I'm glad I saw that. On the disassembly I noticed something, but it was not all that evident, but now I can see it. In the meantime, you can put this in, I believe, the screw to the dipstick. No, I will not replace the pipe. I don't have it over here, and it is not normal pipe, because it is two measurements, two sizes, one size over there. I say measurement a lot because in Portuguese size is measurement. Okay, so over there we have about, well, I don't know, 3mm, but on that side we have about 5. So that's not very nice. I will do something that may work. 17 over here. This sensor, the position of it is like this, pointing down. Do not need a lot of tightening, not at all. Can take out the pipe all the way out, as you can. Don't mind the mess, okay? You want to this clamp to squeeze a little bit more the rubber, not the rubber, in this case the silicone. As you can see, the silicone is already collapsed, so we can do a height adjustment, if I can call it so, in order to make this work. Let's see. This also happens a lot on the Alfa GT and 147 on the multi-jet engines. A bit of tape, high quality one. Not really pretty to see, but it is better than some other stuff. Just one turn. So now we want to see, you are seeing that the clamp over here is much tighter, and that will tell you that it will be a stronger grip on this. Yeah, I will think I can do it. Yes. Already regret putting in the sensor because I want to do the crimping. I was to do the crimping outside, but now I want to do it in place to be better. Okay, let's see. Let's see. If not, I can do it outside and then try to squeeze it in because this is silicone and it will be very malleable. Let's try it like this. Better, but not good. It still moves, okay? If it moves and if it rotates, it is not holding vacuum, not enough anyway. And it will create fault codes for turbo pressure. This is very common to happen, okay? Did you see the ease? I hope it is now. That is good. So just a little bit more. It is very nice on the way in, but then it does rotate a bit. Okay, and it comes out. Just a little bit more. So with 2 turns of tape, let's see. Maybe I have to use a little bit of silicone grease. Wonderful. Very nice. Very, very nice. One more potential issue solved. Make sure now that the new clamps are in the position there is more for your advantage. I think like so. Very nice. Like I told you, on this side I used a normal clamp, preferably a thicker one, a wider one, to be able to do a little bit more. I have to clean this pipe a little bit better. Again, use the clamp on a position of your advantage. Normally I put it like this, so I'm able to put a extension and work on top. Make sure the pipe is nice and fitted on the turbo. And now you can, with your left hand, position the clamp, and with your right one, tighten over here on top said clamp. Just before that, let's position here the pipe in the most comfortable position possible, so it is not forcing on anything like it was previously. It was like so, and it is like this, up, like so. It's getting dark out. Okay, so just to finalize a bit more, we have this cracked pipe. I use this adhesion tape to create here a adhesive, and also to increase again the height of the hose, in this way creating more clamping force with the original clamp. I like to calculate this by number of turns, of twists. Just 2. This tape is very ugly. It's bright instead of being dull. I do not like that. And now I can try to clamp this in place and see the force that is being produced now. Okay, nice. Don't forget your vacuum hoses and your plug for the temperature sensor. Make sure not to clamp to be crooked. The pipe is on the correct position, and my hand can go now. Okay. If you are liking this content, please guys share with your friends, hit that like button, and consider subscribe. Yeah. Okay. Okay, it falls off. Down on the description there are a lot of stuff that can and will be useful for you. Things related to DIY, to brakes, crank no start, loss of power, so many things that can and will be useful for you. Also down on the description we have links for helps for the channel if you are able to do so. I will appreciate any donation that you can do to help out the channel on this new journey, because now I'm doing the YouTube stuff all the time. It's not easy. Okay, I'll see you next time guys. Bye.